China, the world's largest industrial base, is gearing up for a fierce struggle against the Trump administration's second round of tariffs. This time, the focus is on the agricultural and high-tech industries in the United States. Beijing has scared the international markets by stating, "We support a calm solution." But reaction is unavoidable if our interests are violated. Just 1 month after imposing a 10% tax on Chinese imports, the Trump administration added another 10% levy. This arrived at the same time as a 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico. In reality, the White House demonstrates that it is unwilling to back down, claiming that if China goes too far, tariffs might rise to 60%. Furthermore, Canada's counterattack implies that Washington may be fighting many fronts at once. The global economy is concerned about a resumption of the Great Trade War in 2019, as efforts by both countries might fundamentally alter global supply networks. Beijing has a lot of alternatives on the table, including transferring aviation business to Airbus and reducing semiconductor exports. Let's look at China's leverage and the Trump administration's increasing aggressiveness. China's new retaliatory measures look to be an opening volley rather than a hard blow. China appears to be preparing to resist Trump's second wave of tariffs, and this time it has demonstrated a severe reaction that has concerned global markets. Warning, we will target U.S. agriculture, and if we are targeted, we will respond harshly. In particular, at an official press conference in Beijing on March 4, 2025, Chinese Minister of Commerce Wang Wentao stated that we will not give in to these tariff impositions, but will swiftly launch our countermeasures, adding that the door is open for a peaceful solution. But if China's interests are threatened, retaliation is unavoidable. On the same day, China stated that it will be harsher on the Trump administration for increasing duties on fentanyl and its derivatives. In this backdrop, Beijing levied sweeping duties on American food imports and said that 15 U.S. corporations could no longer buy from China without special permission. China's Ministry of Commerce put 15% taxes on imports of American poultry, wheat, corn, and cotton, and 10% on other items ranging from soybeans to dairy products, beginning March 10th, just after the deadline. Furthermore, the Commerce Department stated that 15 U.S. firms, including Skydio, the largest American drone manufacturer and provider of U.S. military and emergency services, will be unable to purchase components from China unless they have special authorization. The duties would affect around 15% of U.S. exports to China, totaling $21 billion in trade. China promptly announced that it will begin collecting extra duties on liquefied natural gas, coal, and agricultural gear from the United States 6 days after the February penalties were imposed. However, such duties affect only a tenth of American shipments to China, making them significantly smaller than Mr. Trump's broad penalties. Blocking crucial commodities from reaching the United States, a strategy known as supply chain warfare, poses major dangers to China. Beijing is striving to attract international investment. China's authorities have also signaled that bolstering the country's internal economy, which is bogged down by the aftermath of a severe real estate recession, is a top priority. Beijing may make it more difficult for American corporations to conduct business in China, but this might also harm foreign investment. In addition to essentially prohibiting 15 corporations from purchasing Chinese goods, China's Commerce Ministry on Tuesday placed 10 more American companies to a list of untrustworthy organizations and prevented them from doing business in China. The majority of the firms China punished on Tuesday are military contractors, but the Commerce Ministry also prohibited imports from biotech giant Illumina. It accused San Diego-based Illumina of breaking market transaction norms and discriminating against Chinese businesses. Meanwhile, Lu Qinjian, a spokesperson for China's National People's Congress, chastised the United States for breaking World Trade Organization free trade regulations. The United States breached World Trade Organization norms by implementing unilateral tariffs, disrupting the safety and stability of global industry and supply lines, he claimed. In a news conference on March 3, 2025, U.S. President Donald Trump lambasted Beijing, saying China should first halt fentanyl shipments before we can discuss. President Trump stated that his tariffs were required to halt the flow of fentanyl, a synthetic opioid that has resulted in hundreds of thousands of overdose fatalities in the United States. This disagreement between the two superpowers suggests that the trade war may resume. It remains to be seen how China will handle this issue. Some argue that Beijing has selected the American agriculture sector as its most effective weapon, with tariff rises on crucial commodities such as soybeans, corn, and meat products on the agenda. Furthermore, on March 2nd, an alleged senior Chinese official stated that farmers are Trump's primary voter base. We are resolved to send them a message through these taxes. It is apparent that China intends to target several American agricultural regions, particularly in the Midwestern states. Soybeans have been one of Beijing's strongest suits since the Great Trade War of 2019. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, soybean shipments to China will total over $22 billion in 2024. With the tariffs, this amount might plummet, and the farmers Trump vowed to protect may face insolvency. An item titled "China Retaliates Against Trump Tariffs as Superpower Trade Conflict Worsens" appeared on March 4, 2025. The same report noted that these new tariffs, known as Trump 2.0, are being applied not only to fentanyl, but also to other vital areas. According to White House insiders, China plans to undermine the U.S. high-tech sector by banning imports of technology and machinery, particularly semiconductor manufacture. The risk of China reducing shipments of several essential minerals and rare earth elements is raised. Trump's version of 2025 was portrayed as limiting China's aggressive trade strategy, but a Beijing official remarked in a press release around 8 p.m. on March 3rd that it is a grave mistake for the United States to believe that it can battle the entire globe and win. These statements were paraphrased in quotation marks as, "We are tough, too, and we'll see together." While one of China's primary priorities is U.S. agricultural exports, there is speculation that Beijing may also consider industries such as automobiles and aerospace. According to an article headlined, "Trade Tensions Escalate as China and Canada Retaliate Against U.S. Tariffs," one of China's probable responses might be to restrict its purchases of Boeing airplanes and civil aviation equipment. By the end of 2024, Boeing will be selling around 150 planes per year to China. If Beijing moves these orders to European manufacturers like Airbus, the American aircraft sector may suffer billions of dollars in damages. Beijing has already intimated that we may acquire jets from other sources. This is one of the primary situations that concerns the Trump administration. Furthermore, if China and Canada respond at the same time, the situation for the United States may worsen. On the Canadian front, the phrase, "We will cut your energy, we will cut your electricity," has recently come up. China, on the other hand, believes we will put American farmers and technological companies under pressure. Economists believe it is dangerous for the U.S. to pursue a trade war on several fronts alone. Furthermore, other Asian nations are reacting to every item that the United States sets tariffs on. According to one news source, Trump has drawn swords once more, but the globe is bracing itself for counterattack. Some believe that Washington's tariffs on so many nations at once may exacerbate domestic inflation and choke supply networks. At a news conference in Washington on March 3rd, Trump stated, "We want to talk to China, but we will not make concessions at the table without signaling a retreat." The news conference was held on March 3rd, 2025 at 1400, and Trump specifically quoted the following remark: "Let those who oppose our tariffs trade fairly with us, or they will bear the consequences." A Chinese publication issued an editorial stating that the United States is once again acting arrogantly, but this cannot test our determination. The text did not specify a date, although it was posted on the internet the night of March 3rd. We may take broad action against American agricultural products and high-tech sectors, it stated. This indicates that Beijing will not stop at soil corn. If Trump raises tariffs any higher, we can expect punitive measures like limitations on the export of rare earth elements, which are important in semiconductor manufacture. During the 2019 trade war, Beijing has previously laid out this strategy. In those days, the United States was concerned that we were endangering our defense sector. With the implementation of Trump 2.0 tariffs, the nightmare may resurface. But will China really go this far? Or is this just a fantastic diplomatic tactic? The headline states, China retaliates against U.S. tariffs while also wanting to talk. The report emphasizes that Beijing is advocating for discussion on the one hand, but will have no reservations if Trump does not back down. At the daily briefing on March 2, 2025, the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokeswoman stated, "They did not want us to be strong, but we will use that strength when necessary. If the United States takes a positive approach, we can address problems. Otherwise, we will reply accordingly." According to the spokesman, our nation's dignity and interests are non-negotiable. Threatening tariffs will not work. This shows that Beijing is in a "if they knock, we will negotiate" mentality. If they do not, our retribution will intensify. One significant advantage China has is its vast import capability into the U.S. agriculture sector. According to data, China will import $100 billion in agricultural goods from the United States by 2024. This amount covers soy, corn, beef, fruit, fish, and a variety of other products. If China raises duties on these commodities or lowers imports to zero, farmers in the Midwestern and Southern United States will suffer greatly. Trump had similar issues during his first trade battle in 2019, when he was compelled to offer a multi-billion-dollar stimulus and assistance package for the agriculture industry. That scenario is likely to repeat again. As a result, the issue is whether Trump can withstand the pressure from agricultural supporters or if he would sit down with China and make compromises. In terms of fentanyl, the United States has escalated the issue to the level of national security, claiming that China's chemical companies are the source of fentanyl and hence need stiffer penalties. Beijing, on the other side, dismissed these allegations as excessive and false, arguing that the fentanyl issue should not be confused with commerce. According to China's Ministry of Commerce, such aggressive action by the United States has outraged Chinese public sentiment. We are developing comprehensive countermeasures. This phrase was spoken at an official news conference on March 4, 2025, at around 10:00. The U.S. government, on the other side, issued orders emphasizing that our stance on fentanyl is clear. If China does not halt the shipment of certain substances, trade sanctions will remain in place. All of these mutual declarations indicate that the trade war has now spread to medicines and chemicals. It appears that China is ready to respond against Trump's additional tariffs on the following important items. First, consider American agricultural products, particularly soybeans, maize, pork, and dairy. Second, in the aviation industry, Boeing produces airplanes, engines, and replacement components. Third, there are limits on semiconductors and essential minerals, which are considered technology. Finally, while not entirely on the agenda, energy deals like liquefied natural gas acquisitions may come into play. According to rumors, Beijing proposed slapping a hefty tax on U.S. liquefied natural gas during a closed-door meeting on March 3rd. There has been no official confirmation, but the assumption that Beijing will use everything if Trump demands is widespread. Time will tell how the process develops. On the one hand, the U.S. is singing the mantra, "Tariffs are easy to win." On the other hand, China is stating that it will not give in to the message that we rejected in 2019 and will resist again. This tug of battle might cause a fresh round of shocks in the global economy. Trump's tariffs have already heightened tensions with Canada and Mexico, and the same is happening with China. If Canada and China retaliate at the same time, the United States may face a massive internal reaction from the agricultural and manufacturing sectors. The question of whether it is reasonable to fight war on so many fronts is already being raised in Congress. However, during his news conference on March 3rd, Trump stated, "We have the power. We will eliminate trade imbalances. We will not allow anyone to consume America, and we have no intention of backing down. The trade battle is escalating. Who knows which tariff will apply to whatever commodity in the future stage?" What are your thoughts? Can China actually drive the United States to its knees? Or does Trump believe that this time he will employ a new tactic to drive Beijing to its knees? How practical is it for Beijing to reduce agricultural exports and suspend Boeing purchases? Will the United States defense and technology suffer if the semiconductors and rare earth elements card is played? The questions are infinite. What is known is that the conflict between the world's two greatest economies is intensifying anew, and everyone is waiting for the conclusion. The current state of the trade war is expected to be on the agenda in the coming weeks. We'll be returning with more in-depth analysis in the future videos. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like the video. Who do you think will back down, China or Trump? We look forward to your feedback. Thank you for watching us.